Hi everyone, it's Natalie. I'm doing a quick video in response to a few comments. And then the question is, if you plan on going no contact, do you tell the narcissist that you're going no contact? No. You owe nobody an explanation, and they don't have the privilege of knowing that you're going no contact. Because if you go and tell them that you're going no contact, what's going to happen is it's going to cause drama. They're going to smear you, or they're going to hoover or love bomb you, so that way it doesn't happen. And then you get sucked back into that relationship. So if you plan on going no contact, what you do is you literally cut them out of your life. You block their phone numbers, or you don't answer their phones, you don't phone calls, you don't go to their house, you don't celebrate holidays, you don't do any of that. You literally have to start treating them as strangers. That's what you do. Like I've always said, staying silent is the best revenge. Not letting them know what you're doing, why you're doing it, or who you're doing it with is literally torture to them. Okay, so if you are planning on going no contact, you just walk away. You do not want these people to know that you're going no contact. They'll figure it out. And trust me when I tell you, they know why. They might come back and ask you, why are you going no contact? They know. You don't owe them an explanation of why. That's the thing. They did this to themselves. And so you let them suffer in their misery. Let them guess, even though they're not guessing. They absolutely 100% know why you no longer want a relationship with them. And you just carry on your merry way. No matter how many times they call, if they show up to your house, you don't answer the door. It really, whatever little schemes they come up with, you literally have to ignore it. It might get on your nerves. You might mess up a million times and react. But the best thing to do is not to react to any of the love bombing or the hoovering or the smearing or anything like that. See, what's going to happen once they figure out that you're going no contact is they're going to send their flying monkeys. And those flying monkeys are not your friends. They are going to pretend like they are your friends to get information out of you to bring back to the narcissist. So the best thing to do too is to cut the flying monkeys off as well. And it really sucks because you might have good relationships with some of the family members or friends of the narcissist, but you have to understand that these people have been brainwashed by the narcissist long before you showed up, okay? And so they are in complete control over the narcissist, and they do the narcissist dirty work. And so you have to understand that when these flying monkeys come to your house and act all sweet and kind, maybe they don't even talk about the narcissist. Maybe they're doing things that you don't know, right, are being deceitful to get information out of you, to get you to either say something that they can go back and tell the narcissist, or maybe they will, the flying monkeys might act like they're on your side to get you to talk crap about the narcissist, so they can go back and tell the narcissist, and then the narcissist takes that information and looks at that flying monkey and says, see, I told you, I'm not the problem. She's the problem. The flying monkeys will also come and say, oh, well, the narcissist is so sorry. She didn't really mean what she said, or you took it the wrong way, and she said that she's going to be nicer, or she's going to change, and all this stuff. It's all a lie. It's all a ruse, and it's all to get you back into contact with them, because once you go no contact, the narcissist has no control over you anymore. And that's the thing. The narcissist has to have control over everybody that is in her circle. And regardless if she doesn't want you in her circle or not, you are in her circle. And that's mainly because They know that if they get to have control over you, they will be able to go back to the other people in that circle and say nasty things about you and blame and shift the blame on you and things like that. And that's the problem with these flying monkeys. See, I ran into that. I thought people that were in my husband's family who shared things about the narcissist, said bad things about the narcissist, I could talk to. Because when somebody says something negative about someone that you don't like, you automatically assume that that person is on your side, that they understand, that you can share with them some of the negative experiences that you've had with the narcissist as well. But what you don't know is that they are tricking you. They are tricking you into saying things negatively about the narcissist so they can go back and tell the narcissist. And that way they have things on you and they can smear you and they can do all this thing because once they figure out that you go no contact, they are going to have the biggest smear campaign that you've probably ever witnessed. And it is really hard to not say anything. But I am going to tell you, because I have been there, where people have came back, especially flying monkeys, and said, oh, well, the narcissist said this or that about you and blah, blah, blah. And I tried to defend myself. Well, what happened, because I found out, because the only person I said these things to were the flying monkeys, I found out later on that they went back and told the narcissist, and it made me look bad, and it gave ammunition to the narcissist to go around and say nasty things about me and blame me for the reason why the relationship never worked. So it is really important that you stay silent, no matter how upset or how absurd or the narcissist might say lies about you or things that trigger you. It's all on purpose. Okay, you have to understand that. So as hurtful as it is, you need to stay silent. When you go no contact, that means that no matter what is said, no matter what is done, you have no involvement with that person at all anymore. So they can say and do whatever they want to say and do, and you have to completely act like it does not affect you, even if it does, even if it's hurtful, okay? You do not owe anybody an explanation at all. And if the flying monkeys come around and start asking you questions or trying to trick you back in this relationship, you do not owe anyone an explanation of why you went no contact. The worst thing you can do is explain yourself away. They don't care. If they cared, you wouldn't be going no contact in the first place. So if a flying monkey comes and tries to trigger you into explaining, you can simply say neutral phrases that, oh, well, that's really too bad that, my narcissist said that. Or you can say, I really rather not talk about this. It's personal, and I just, it's something how I feel, and I don't feel like I need to share it with you. You just come up with little things like that, neutral phrases, where you're not giving information, but you're also not being cruel. So you're just kind of saying, I think that's highly inappropriate to talk about. I'm sorry that she feels that way, but I feel differently. Or I'm sorry she sees it that way, but I see it differently. You can say something like that. And then you end the conversation point blank, period. And if the flying monkey or even the narcissist continues trying to prod and poke you into conversation or reaction, you just say, you know what, it might be time for me to leave, or it might be time for you to leave if they're at your house. Or you can say like I said, I really don't want to talk about it. It's personal, and I'd rather just keep it to myself. So these are type of phrases that you would have to use with the people that are coming over and trying to get you to spill the beans on why you don't want to be in contact with the narcissist. Because remember, they're not your friend. As much as you might think they are, as much as you might even love that person, the flying monkey, they're not on your side. And that's one of the hardest things to come to terms with, is realizing that the people that you think are on your side really aren't. That's the hardest part, honestly. And it will break your heart because you don't like the narcissist. But some of the people that are in your life, like family and friends of the narcissist, you might really have a good relationship with. You might spend time with them. You might, it could be a million things. You might really genuinely care for this person, but you have to remember the narcissist has brainwashed all these people, okay? And so even if the flying monkey thinks they might be helping the situation, right, by going back and trying to fix a relationship between you and the narcissist, really what they're doing is harming it. That's all they're doing. And you might have to lose those flying monkeys as friends. And that's the thing. It's like when you go no contact, it's safer to go no contact with everyone involved with the narcissist. And it's going to be difficult, and it's going to be challenging, and your feelings are going to be hurt and all of this. But going no contact with the narcissist is almost saying goodbye to everyone involved with the narcissist, unfortunately. And as much as you might think some of those flying monkeys are on your side, they're not. See, the narcissist is a puppet master. And she uses her little puppets, unknowingly sometimes to them, to get into your brain, I guess, or your thinking, or to use them as a pawn in the game, so that way they can win. That way they can say nasty things about you, or go back to people and say, see, she said this or that. I'm such a nice old woman or old man, and here I had so-and-so come and tell me that she said this or that about me. The flying monkeys are not your friends. They are puppets. And like I said, even if they think they're helping the relationship, in reality, they are harming it. Because we know that there are people in our lives that really do want to try to fix a relationship between us and the narcissist. But because the flying monkeys have been brainwashed, and unaware to them they're brainwashed, they don't realize that they are doing the dirty work for the narcissist. And so if you decide to go no contact, it is so very important to stay silent during this time. No matter how upset you are, no matter the triggers that might upset you, no matter, because the narcissist is going to try to trigger you to get that reaction, because since you went no contact, it looks bad on the narcissist. And so what they do is they try to trigger you to get you to step out of character, so that way you look like the problem. That's the whole spiel of the game. Because when you go no contact, it really truly does make the narcissist look guilty. And so what they'll do is try to get you triggered, so that way you will say stuff and do stuff that makes you look bad. And then all the people around the narcissist, their flying monkeys, families and friends and all that, see your reaction. And then what the narcissist does, even though you step out of character and that's not who you truly are, what the narcissist does says, see, that's who she is. That is the way, that is what I've been dealing with. That is her character. So during this time, stay silent and stay still. If you have that urge to want to call the narc and explode or anything like that, or any negative thoughts, the best thing you can do is stay still. Do not react. If you have to sit on your hands so you don't make that phone call or drive over to that person's house, then you sit on your hands. The best thing you can do is stay silent and stay still. All right. Peace, love, and harmony. And remember, silence kills, and it's going to torture that narcissist. Love y'all. Bye.